Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of PrimeTalk. Today, we have a special production going on. We're having a special production done with Fortunate. The purpose of this special production is because of the importance of the topic to all Amazon sellers. And the topic is making an Amazon exit, okay? Because it's very, very important for the sellers to know what's going on, because there's a massive wave of billions of dollars coming into the marketplace with organizations that raise a lot of money with the intention to buy Amazon businesses. So Getira essentially decided to ask Fortunate. We have a guest today, Michal, and we're gonna dive all into it in just a moment. But we asked Michal and Fortunate to help us and the sellers understand the different aspects of selling an Amazon business. So I would like to introduce, Michal Oron. She's our guest. Michal Oron essentially is the co-founder and CEO of Fortunate, which is an investment banking firm that specializes in selling mid to large e-commerce businesses and mainly Amazon businesses. So Michal, welcome to the show.
Hi, Yoni. Nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Our pleasure, really. So today, we're really going to focus on the topic of making an Amazon exit. Today, we're going to essentially, do the first episode for the sellers. And this episode is going to focus on why selling a successful Amazon business and when is it a good time to sell, right? So why selling an Amazon business and when's a good time to sell? Before we dive into the episode and your presentation, share with us a little bit, the story of Fortunate, the background story, the experience and the purpose of the organization.
Okay. So hi, Yoni, and hello, everyone. As Yoni mentioned, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Fortunate. We're a team of 10 people, specialized experts in M&A, Amazon experts, and financial experts. All are dealing with representing Amazon sellers when they want to sell their business. We were established 2 years ago. We've completed so far more than 39 deals. And we formed this business with the understanding that selling a business is this is a very significant exercise that someone can make in his life. Sometimes this is a one-time event, a life-changing event. So with this understanding, we established the business to make sure that we provide a full scope of services that includes everything that an Amazon seller needs when they're getting prepared for the sale of the business. We accompany our clients from the first moment that they think about the idea of selling the business until the deal is completed. So this is in short. We are indeed focused due to the deep depth of our services. We are focusing only on mid to large businesses.
So share with us, when you say mid to large businesses, what does that translate into an Amazon seller?
So it will be a revenue of 1 million and above. This will be the low end of our clients. Will have $1 million sales and much more than this. Of course.
Got it. So in short, you guys founded the company in 2018. You already have more than 39 exits under your belt, successful exits for the sellers who sold the Amazon business. So you're really helping many sellers pave the way into an exit, which makes it, for most of them, a life-changing experience where they probably never dreamed or thought that they can make such an exit with their Amazon business. Because I want to stress this out. Over the years, especially the last decade, most, if not all, Amazon sellers were always worried about, I can't have all my eggs in one basket called Amazon. I should have, a presence on my own website, my Shopify website, my BigCommerce website, maybe an eBay, maybe a Walmart, which is all good. This is all correct thinking. But now everybody's kind of realizing there's a change of thought, realizing that just having it on Amazon and nowhere else is perfectly fine. Why? Because there's so many investment companies willing to pay you for your Amazon business and your Amazon presence. So in itself, selling on Amazon became a huge asset that now is rewarding many of the sellers that participate in the marketplace. And with this notion, we figured that we can really create a special production for sellers to dive into and utilize if they are interested to learn more and hopefully make a successful exit. So this is kind of the preface of everything that's going on. So let's dive right into the episode one. Why should Amazon even sell a business? What does this all mean? Let's get into it.
Okay, so this is a question that many times is being asked. Why I have a successful Amazon business, I earn a lot of money, I grow the business. Why should I sell it at all? So first of all, you don't have to, but you can. So this is one thing to understand. You can sell your business. And then what I can share here, different reasons that we hear from different sellers when they get to a decision that they want to sell their business. And I want to divide the reason to three categories, I would say. So one category would be the economic or business decision, business question. So one consideration that lead many sellers to decide to sell their business is just the wish to monetize the value that they've created. Amazon sellers, many times, they roll a lot of money inside their business. They see nice turnovers, nice profits, but actually they cannot take significant money out of the business because they need to keep on funding the growth, investing in acquisition and in procuring of inventory, marketing expenses, etc. So there is one thing of, this is like selling the business is what creates the difference between having the money on the paper and having the money inside your pockets. So it's at some stage, a seller can get to a decision that it's okay. I mean, he took this roller coaster for enough time, and now money can be put in the pocket.
I want to touch this point for just a moment because, you know, what happens to many Amazon sellers who start generating significant revenue, let's say over $1 million, you know, they might reward themselves with a good income. They might make a few $100,000 a year in income, which is great. But when you actually are able to make an exit, there's going to be a few millions of dollars coming out in cash into your pocket, where all that money that's invested into the business, and like Michal mentioned, it's really on paper. You're a millionaire on paper, but you're only really making a good income as almost like an employee of the business. This gives you the opportunity to really become a millionaire and get all the money, the money that's on paper, to convert into paper that's in your pocket, or at least in your bank account. So, you know, that's a very viable reason that many sellers should pay attention to the differences between paper and pocket. So I guess that's kind of the main, first and main reason. What's the other reasons?
So under the same category, still on the economic or business decision, the reason the question of scaling up, keep on scaling up the business. So we see many highly skilled entrepreneurs within the Amazon space that have built great businesses, which is many times it can be business. You know, we had cases of business with almost 30 million of sales a year with only one person and one V8. And this puts first a lot of pressure on the shoulders of the owner. And at the same time, this creates a bottleneck, some limitation or a glass ceiling, which doesn't allow the business to keep on developing and growing. And with the understanding that you cannot stand in one place, you either grow or decline, not in every specific moment, but the big picture. When a seller comes to a conclusion that they either need to create a whole organization around them that will support the further growth of the business, or they will not be able to grow it anymore, then the question comes whether a right solution for this so-called problem could be selling the business. The buyers will be many times companies with large infrastructures, teams in place that can take the business to the next level. And this is another reason why sellers consider to sell the business.
Right. So if I had to put it kind of in my words, is that, you know, you have your baby, you made it peak into the top, and at this point you're stranded. You can't even take it any higher because you're simply going to require so much resources for you to deal with. So you're kind of peaking. So if you're afraid that at that moment, the peaking, it might just decline or fade away, you have the opportunity to take your organization, your baby, and sell it to another organization, which is much more capable and really taking it to the next level. So if, let's say, you peaked at a 30 million, this organization will take it to the 60, 90 and beyond, or make it even an international brand. You never know. So that's a very good reason as well. Yeah.
I really like your use of the word baby, because we say at Fortunate many times that we're in the business of selling babies. You know, the time that we hear sellers saying, "This is my baby, I'm now selling my baby," you know, it's endless.
Nice. Very cute. Yeah.
But you are right. So there is another point in this, still under this category, to take into consideration. There is, as you said, there are many investors that are coming into this game with the aim to buy and aggregate many Amazon businesses. And actually, this industry is going through a consolidation. So if you look at this, the understanding is that this will lead to a much stronger pace of development in the category. A higher level of sophistication will be required in order to well compete, because the players are becoming greater and larger with deeper pockets, lots of know-how and capabilities. And this leaves the single entrepreneur more vulnerable when they need to compete with such organization. So this is another thing. I think that with the entrance of those large companies into the field, this also generates the willingness to sell the business to them. So it's a kind of a win-win. So this is on, in short, on the economic and business question. There is also a philosophical question, and I'm calling it philosophical, but actually these are reasons that we hear many times from different sellers when they come to sell their business and to consult with us. It goes with the question on what is your general goal in life. Do you really want to run this business forever? If no, then what? What will be next? Do you like this lifestyle? Do you feel very stressed? Too much, work-life balance? Is it good or not? Do you like what you're doing? Do you like what you're doing? What part of the day is enjoyable as opposed to less enjoyable part, let's say?
Right.
Another thing is, what is your risk appetite? How do you feel about the Amazon general risks, and then we are aware of different waves of challenges that are coming from the Amazon side. So what is your reaction to this? Are you strong enough to keep on coping and manage with those challenges?
Adapting and living with constant pressure and anxiety of never knowing when the next challenge will come from. It could be suspensions, it could be competitors, it could be regulations. There's so many moving parts. So on a philosophical level, if you feel like, you're a tiger, you can do this forever. If you want to stay in the game, by all means. If you feel like, I was a tiger until this point, and now it's just the myriad of complexity is compounding, because now I'm facing, as you mentioned, I'm a sole wolf, I'm a lone wolf in this jungle where there's packs of lions all around me, gearing up and forming themselves. So maybe I just sell myself to these pack of lions and wish myself as a brand, a good speed, while I cash out and retire to a nice house in the forest, away from all the jungle.
Yeah, and not only nice house, but also who I am. Am I a player for the long run? Am I going to take a company from 0 to $100 million, or can I get it up to $5, $10, $20 million worth or revenue, or whatever? Part of the sellers feel that they are very good at creating a business, creating a brand, bringing onto the market a very successful product. And they think, I can sell it and then start all over again. So this is also about self-definition on a professional side. Another thing is, and it is interesting, but we hear it many times from sellers, that they feel lonely. They suffer from loneliness many times. Again, they sit at home, they have very good connection with their VAs, wherever they are in the world, but at the end of the day, they are all alone. So this is another motivation for them to sell. And in addition to this, there are always specific personal considerations that we meet, which can vary. It depends on everyone has his own or not. So some that I can refer to are conflicts between partners. This is a very common reason for the sale of the business. I can tell that if this is the motivation, if this is the real, incentive for this act, partners should consult and make sure that they don't ruin the business because of their disputes, and that maybe they can get third-party assistance in order to get along together around the sale of the business. So again, if we're talking about babies, don't kill your baby because the parents are fighting. There are tax considerations. So sellers that discovered that they didn't plan well their business in tax perspective, so it's better to sell it now and invest more in a new business which will be built in the right manner, and not to grow this business until the maximum under not favorable tax implication.
So give me an example, meaning maybe you registered in a state that has more of a higher tax bracket or tax rate. So if you cash it out, you have enough liquidity to pay all the taxes. Get out, then redo it where you can register your company in a state that has zero taxes, and it's structured in such a way where it's optimized to grow and pay a more favorable amount of taxes. So in turn, it will grow profitability in the long term.
Again, exactly. So this is just a single consideration that shouldn't be the only one that lead to a decision, but it is something which is calculated many times. And there are other personal considerations, like I'm getting married, I'm getting divorced, everyone with his own personal considerations. So this is, in short, what we see. This is what bring sellers to sell their business. Maybe to sum it up, the bottom line, they sell because they can. They want to meet money, the value that they created. They want to meet it in their pockets, and there is an opportunity out there. So this is the main thing. And then the next question under our current episode is when to sell. Okay, so I'm a seller. I decided that I want to sell the business, but now the question is, when should I do that? Should I do it now, in a year, after Q4? What exactly? So this is an excellent question, and not an easy one, by the way, in some cases. And here again, I can divide. When you come to analyze this topic, you can divide the perspectives to two, internal and external. So in the internal part relates to what you want to do with your business. So here I want to mention few considerations that should be taken into account. So one is that you should, as the seller, should aim to realize at least a decent part of the potential that they created. So you launched certain products, you see them growing, you feel that you're now enjoying, you're enjoying from the fruits that you created with lots of work. Don't leave too much money on the table. So realize it. At the same time, you don't want to sell a business which doesn't grow and which you don't see how it can keep on growing. Because a buyer, when the buyer comes to buy a business, they don't give you a prize for the great work that you did in the past. They pay for your business because they believe that they can take it from point A to point B, which will be a better one. So you should at least believe that there is a room for additional growth in your business. So again, there is a balance. On one hand, you don't want to hand over your business before you realized decent part of its potential. On the other hand, you don't want to squeeze the lemon until the end and then throw it to the garbage and think that someone will pay for it. So it's a balance.
So it's a thin balance between you feeling that your participation in the organization has maxed out, but if a different player comes in and takes over the organization, it could just grow even more. That's pretty much a balance. So if you feel like the organization and you peaked out, and then whoever comes later can't even take it further, that's not going to play out well for anybody. But if you can sincerely look into your business and acknowledge that you and your team have maxed out, and a different player that has much more resources and know-how will take it to the moon. That's when you have probably a good opportunity to sell, and you'll know it's also being done in good timing. It's good for you. Everybody in you and your organization cashes out. Get rewarded for everything that you created, and you sell it at the peak. It's very similar to Jerry Seinfeld. He stopped after 9 seasons his show. Jerry Seinfeld, the Seinfeld show was the top show in the 90s. He had 9 seasons, was making a lot, but he felt that he can't take it any further. Him and his team, he can't take it. So, take it any further. He cashed out and he became a legend. So, but in any case, if you feel like Jerry Seinfeld, that you maxed out yourself, but nevertheless, your organization can take more, and if somebody else comes in and can push it more, do it. That's pretty much, it's a very simple and strong indicator that it's probably a good time.
This is true, but I do want to emphasize one point. Make sure that when you sell it, you can still grow it a little bit more, because if you sell it a moment after, it means that once you sell the business, it declines. So you should have room for breath, going forward with the business, and you should also have some projection on the ability to keep on growing the business.
Yourself,
but with the decision that from a certain point, it's not your job. It requires more, you're too tired, and this comes back to the motivation for selling the business. So again, it's a balance. How much did I extract from the business so far? And what do I leave to the buyer to enjoy from? So you should have a projection. I think that, and this is something that many times we help sellers to do, to prepare a projection for the business, both for their own internal need and also in order for them to be able to prove for the buyer what is a reasonable path of growth going forward. And once you have a projection, you need to know what does it take to exercise upon it, and then decide whether you are the one, you have the energy, you have the capabilities, you have the wish to do whatever it takes in order to make it happen, or this is the time for you to hand the business over to someone else.
So let me understand this. So yes, when you create these projections, you essentially create it for both in 2 tracks. One track is that you actually can stay. You say, if I was to stay and have all these resources, this is the path to growth. But of course, there's a second track where, this is the path to growth. So even if I'm not there, it can still grow. So this is where this is maybe the way you kind of want to position your organization towards the sale, where you're involved. So it makes perfectly sense even if you're there, but also makes perfect sense even if you're not there. Is that kind of the approach?
Yes, and also, you know what? I'll give an example. Okay, live examples. I currently have 2 like this. We have 2 clients like this. So 2 of them came to us at the beginning of the year. Okay, these are 2 very, very, very successful Amazon sellers. They came to us at the beginning of the year. They had great businesses, and they were anticipating a premium multiple for the businesses, and for very good reason. We sat with them to learn the business deeper and to understand what is their, what are the projection, or what can be done with the business. And we discovered together with them that both of these businesses are expected to grow during this year, during 2020. One of them both of them by more than 3 times. One of them almost 4 times, and now one of them actually will finish the year with more than 4 times growth of the profit.
Amazing.
So in their case, for example, we ask them, can you stay? Can you hold it further? It doesn't make sense to sell a business now with the profit, let's say, of, I don't know, almost $2 million, where at the end of the year, it will be 3 times than this profit. If you feel that you have the capabilities, you have the patience, you have the, you don't feel too afraid, or you don't feel that you are facing too much of a risk, please keep on managing the business until the end of the year, and we'll sell it then. And here, where we are now, facing the end of the year, both of them actually realize exactly the projection that they had. And one of them even succeeded more than was anticipated. And now they're going to get of course, a much higher payment for their business. So in this case, when you make a projection, you can also measure whether it makes sense to sell it now or to wait a bit. Okay?
Yeah. So this is kind of, so this is another component to the to looking inside, reflecting. So of course, I guess in my perspective, what I understood is that when you look into your business, obviously if it's ripe for sell it. But if you see that with the next few months or a year, maybe even two, if you're really strategic about it, you can definitely see yourself grow, or dramatically grow comfortably your profits. For, let's say, for 1 million to 3 million, or 3 million to 6 million, and because of that, enjoy a much more fruitful exit by all means. So these two are a great example where in a span of 12 months, they're able to grow their profit from 2 million to about 6 million, let's say. And because of that, their multiples will be, 3, 4, 5x, whatever they're able to get, and significantly much more. Actually, let's give it mathematics. So if you were a year ago to sell it, and you make $2 million, let's be conservative. You get a 3x multiple. They would have sold it for 6 million, but they invested another year or 12 months, and now their profit is 6 million. So if they get a 3x multiple, they're going to get 18 million, which is really life changing. 6 million is great, but 18 million is it puts you in a different stratosphere.
And actually, these are the numbers, more or less the numbers. Higher multiples, but more or less same numbers, so you can understand the drama here. This is not the case when we are making a projection and we see that the businesses keep on growing, let's say on a constant basis, very nicely. It's okay. It's okay to sell a business. It's not okay, it's a must to sell a business that is growing. Otherwise, multiples will go down. So it's okay to get a part from the future profits, because you get in exchange the multiple over your SDE.
Yeah, essentially a multiple is designed to pay you for the future profits. So instead of you staying in the business and realizing these profits, they pay you for those profits in advance. And then it's up to them to to make it worth their while and take it to the next station. But for yourself,
by the way, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Yoni. It's not just that you are getting paid up front for your future profit, but it's a risk-free payment for your future profit.
Absolutely,
so you have it now in your pocket, risk-free. Yes.
Then instead of 3 years later or 4 years or 5 years later on the tree with involving all the risk and the stress. So that's kind of the pros and cons of selling or not selling. Beautiful, very good.
And then there is the external consideration. What is going on around you? So how the market looks like, and how your category and competition looks like. So as of the market, it is important to be close. I mean, to have good consultants and to be close to the market and to understand what is going on. For example, today the market is really hot. We can see it's crazy out there. We can see multiple of new buyers coming into the play on a daily basis. So naturally, the demand for those businesses is getting high. So seems to be a good time to sell in this sense. Hopefully this will keep on being the trend also going forward, but you can never know. So this is another consideration to make.
Right. So you're saying there's strong momentum, for the Amazon sellers to be able to sell, because there's so much new money coming in. So hopefully this momentum will continue.
Yes. And then, and you know what, I forgot to refer to one thing, which is important about timing. And this is the time of the year. If you are, for example, a seasonal business which sell mostly on Q4, probably you should wait until the end of Q4 before you sell the business. Unless you don't think that you will grow the business. So but usually this is, of course, these are small considerations that related to timing.
Right.
Another point on the external considerations that are related to the sale of the business is the level of competition. So you should look around you and see is there any change among your competitors? Maybe new strong players in your category have come to the play. And how the game looks like these days. So we do see it in different categories, that with the entrance of strong hands to such categories, it became a more sophisticated game and a tougher play. So this is another thing to take on into consideration.
Yep.
you know, in short, I think that this is more or less it about, and always you should, I think that another thing which is really important is to consult, to surround yourself with good consultants, and to consider with them whether to sell at all, whether this is the right time to sell, and if not, what is the right time to sell, and how to get prepared to the sell if I want to sell, but this will come in the next episode.
Very good. So there you have it, folks. You know, this is episode 1, why to sell an Amazon business, right? And when to sell it. And so this is kind of the summary of this first episode. I hope we found it useful. Stay tuned for the next episode. You know, and until then, we wish you much success and happiness. Until next time.
Goodbye. Thank you.